There I am. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Midlife Mojo. I am Jill Lebofsky, the creator of Midlife Mojo Enterprises, maybe, whatever you want. But I created Midlife Mojo as my mission to really just help women 40, 50, 60, and over just really start to connect with each other and start some real talk and about the hot topics that are just on the hearts and minds of all of us, things like our hot flashes, our sex life, our weight, our loneliness, our boredom, our empty nesting, all of these things. And so I created Midlife Mojo Mondays specifically in this group. Every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live on some topic. I never know how long I'm going to talk, anywhere from 10 minutes, to about 30 minutes typically. Sometimes I go a little bit longer, depending upon if I'm on a roll. I do love to gab, as my husband says. But anyways, so for those of you who do not know me, my name is Jill Lebofsky, and I am foremost a wife, been married to my college sweetheart. We just celebrated 22 years. Hold on, let me just start this off. And I have two beautiful children. I have my son who is not happy to be home from his freshman year of college. And I have my daughter who is a sophomore in high school and shockingly unhappy that she's not going back to school, which I think that shocks her as well. Also take care of two beautiful retriever rescue dogs. And, those are the most important jobs in my life. But I also am as a solo entrepreneur. I've been a health coach now for 15 years. I've been a Pilates instructor. I've been an essential oils educator for almost coming up on 6 years, in just a couple of weeks, actually. Mother's Day will be 6 years. So I really, is what I always say, I'm a Jill of all trades. But really what I've always focused on is women's wellness and providing education, support, cheerleading, services, products, whatever it is, anything I can do to support the midlife woman. So I do hope that you will tune in with me every Monday at 2 p.m. And if you have any suggestions for topics, please send them. I'm always open, or put them in the comments. That would be really great. And at the end of every video, at every Midlife Mojo Monday, I usually do either some kind of offer or a giveaway, a raffle, or tell you about an event coming up. So make sure you stay to the end. All right. So let's get started today. Hold on, let me grab a quick drink of water. I'm already on a roll, right? Okay, so the topic today, you can see 3 surprising things I've learned on my 2-year intermittent fasting journey. So actually April 24th, so Friday, was exactly 2 years since I started my intermittent fasting journey. And I actually just got on the scale and measured right before I got in here, but I have since lost 20 pounds, 20 inches. I did that really in the first 9 months, and I have kept off that all the rest of this time and kept it off easily. And we're going to talk a little bit about why I'm still doing intermittent fasting all these time later if I've hit my goal so long ago. But I thought I would just share a little bit of my journey of how I kind of got introduced to intermittent fasting real quick, and then just kind of talk about these 3 things looking back now that I've learned along the way. Just out of curiosity, has everybody who's listening in, either live or on the replay, have you heard of intermittent fasting before? I mean, I think most people at this point have. I think it's getting more and more mainstream. When I started 2 years ago, it definitely was not. But now it's, a lot of celebrities, a lot of people have done it or tried it. So I think it's a lot more people are knowing about it. But how many of you are actually doing it now? I know I've got a lot of people in this group are doing it now. And I'm just out of curiosity, how many of you are doing it now because you were introduced to intermittent fasting via me, whether it's my book or my program or this group, or you just knew me as a friend and you watched my journey? I'm just curious. So, all right, I see somebody said yes. Unfortunately, there's a link in the description. If you click on that, that will show me your name, but I can't see it, but awesome. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. And I think that for people who don't know, let me describe a little bit what intermittent fasting is, because I think you hear the word fasting and people kind of just close their eyes, shut their brains off, and they're like, no, not for me, not for me. So I hope that maybe you just listen a little bit, learn what it is, hear maybe some of the things I've learned, and maybe open your mind to the thoughts that, ooh, maybe this could be something that works for me. So Marie, yes, you currently do intermittent fasting. Fantastic. So no, you don't, but you're very interested. Yes, awesome. Okay, very cool. Thank you. And thank you for interacting, because gosh knows nothing is more lonely than talking to yourself on screen. So for those of you who don't know what intermittent fasting is, first of all, there are different ways of teaching intermittent fasting. I personally subscribe to the 16-8 method, and that's what I teach my clients. At 16 hours of a fast, at least, and 8 hours of what we call our feast, or our eating window. And during that 16 hours, you pretty much don't eat very much. There are a few little things that you can have during that time. You can have some water, some unsweetened green tea, some black coffee, no creams, no sugars. You can put some essential oils in your water, a little bit of lime, squeeze a lime. But that's about it, how I teach in terms of the 16 hours of the fast. And then during the 8 hours feasting window, you can have whatever you want. And I mean, whatever you want. There is no restriction. Now, I am, a healthy eater. I'm a health coach. Of course, I promote healthy eating, and that's what I teach. But the freeing thing about intermittent fasting is that you can eat the other things that are off the, strict healthy list. You can have the pizza like or the baked ziti like I did last night. The family, when it was ordering out, I didn't feel like cooking, so that's what I ended up with. And you know what? It was during my window, so who cares? Didn't make a difference. Okay, so that's the freeing part of intermittent fasting that I love. And intermittent fasting works because normally what happens is that we eat every few hours. We don't give our bodies any kind of break. And what happens is in those first basically 12 hours after eating something, your body is running on sugar. It's just burning off the carbs and the sugar from the meal before. But in order for it to burn off the stored fat, the stuff that's really been sticking around for a while, and for those of us in midlife, the one, I really now, maybe in the past it was easy to get off, but now it's not. We never really give ourselves, unless we go past beyond really that 12, 14 mark, we never give our body a chance to convert to now stop. It's depleted all of its sugar, and now it has no place else to go to get its energy but our stored fat. And so every single time we eat, we release insulin. And insulin is a fat storing hormone. And your body cannot store fat and release fat at the same time. The only way to do that is to give the body a break from food. So, my husband always says, because I don't even know, you wrote a whole book, you teach this whole program, it's not brain surgery, you eat or you don't eat. Right? It's that simple. And so, of course, there is a little more to it. And I truly believe in support along the way to make it easy in a long-term lifestyle. But he's right. It's eat and don't eat. Next day, eat and don't eat. Next day, eat and don't eat. That's pretty much it, and that's what I love about it. There's not a lot of thinking. There's not a lot of planning. There's not a lot of counting and pulling out, my scale and my, I was a Weight Watchers leader for years. We used to have a slide. You had to measure all your points. I'm sure they do it differently now. It's just nothing, pretty much how I manage is when I'm done eating for the night, I look at my watch or my clock on my phone. I see what time it is. I count 16 hours ahead. I know that's the next time I possibly can open up my window if I want to adhere to the 16-8. Now, for many of us who, and myself included, I tend to fast longer a lot of times. I'll go sometimes 18, once in a while, 20 hours. I tend to do between a 16 and an 18-hour fast. And that may sound crazy to some of you who are thinking, what? Like, I can't even wrap my mind around a 16-hour fast. But when I get just a moment to one of my first surprising things, that's one of them. Okay, how that just kind of just happens, and how easily that happens. But also, it means that just kind of gives me my guideline. But you know what? If something's going on that day and I want to open up at 14, all right, so I open up at 14. But I'm conscious that I opened up at 14. All right, because I knew my mark. And even if I chose not to hit my mark, that's okay. I always say the more days. Intermittent fasting is like a balance. So the more good days, and when I say good, the more days you hit your 16 at least over the days that you don't, the better. But one day isn't going to make or break anything. So, but I always am conscious so that it doesn't kind of roll into 1, 2, 3, 4 days. And then I'm like, ooh, and I'm not really being as mindful of that. So, for those of you who have been doing intermittent fasting, would you agree that it's just that simple? I mean, there's really not much to it. Now, I'm not going to, sugarcoat it. For some of you in the beginning, it's going to be hard. That first week or two, it's a whole mindset thing. It's a whole change of, way of thinking. You're going to have people in your life who are going to tell you it's not safe, and that's very untrue. That's a whole other topic, but that's, I have done the research. Grab my book if you haven't. Which one? Right there. Melt the Midlife Middle book. I have actually a deal for you at the end, so hang on if you haven't bought it yet. But so just know that of course there is a transition in the first couple of weeks, but for some people it was simple, and really there was just, that was it. And then for some, there was the mental struggle, not necessarily the physical struggle. Marie, let's see, you wrote, I do 16 to 22 hours in one 24-hour weekly. Yeah. And do you have any trouble with that at all? Most people don't. Most people, once you've gotten in a rhythm, and I'm talking a couple months in, you've kind of gotten in a rhythm, you do that. And how I teach is really that 16-8. There are people who teach 24, 36-hour fast. I live in the real world. And so for my real world, it's, 16, 17 hours, that's pretty much good. I can usually sneak in 2 meals that day, or at least a big meal and with my family and a snack. But once in a while, I too will sneak in that 24 hours, or the 24 hours will just sneak up on me. So know that that does happen. That is perfectly safe as well. All right, so let me click here, and I'm going to grab a quick drink of water before I talk a little more. Hold on. Where is this? There we go. All right. I need a little TV producer. There we go. So there's my before and after picture. And so I said I lost 20 pounds there. And actually in that picture, I had only lost 15. I just happened to be the exact same event 1 year apart, and I was wearing the shirt, so I like the picture. That was probably 6 months after I had started intermittent fasting. And that had been, I had that 20 pounds on. That had come on over a 1.5 year period of time. And I had tried everything to take it off. I mean, I was a Weight Watchers leader in the past. I was a health coach. I knew all the tricks, and nothing was working. So for myself, 15 pounds I was going to be happy with. That extra 5 pounds has just been gravy. And that extra 5 pounds has been easy. And I kind of maintain somewhere between that 15 and 20 pounds always. Like I think today it was about 18 pounds when I weighed in, and that's where I am. But I was first introduced to intermittent fasting back at the end of April in 2018. For those of you who don't know, I am a Young Living distributor, and so I was supporting a new leader of mine. She was teaching one of her first essential oils classes, and so I was there supporting her. And I just got to, while she was setting up, gabbing to the gentleman next to me, and he mentioned intermittent fasting. Kind of piqued my interest because I was getting pretty desperate. As I said, I had tried everything. I mean, I remember like literally probably having said to my husband a couple of days before, like, what am I going to do? Like, I can't stop the numbers from going up and nothing is working. Like I was really panicked. I'm a role model for people, right? I at least I like to be. And I know there are some people out there who can teach and maybe not live the lifestyle, but I live the lifestyle that I teach. And that's really important to me. So I was feeling, even though I was doing my best, nothing was working. So it piqued my interest, but I heard the word fasting and it did kind of give me that, I don't know about that. I would have considered that safe. But I listened to what he had to say, and he was so excited by it. So I went home, and then I went on kind of a rampage of just research. I was looking up everything. I found all this information. We found a book called Delay, Don't Deny, and I just couldn't gather enough information. And within about a week's period of time, I was hooked. I was convinced. The science that I just explained about that insulin being a fat storing hormone, and you can't store fat and release fat at the same time, like blew me away. Made so much sense to me, made so much sense why I've had so many clients over the years who have told me that they are doing everything I've told them. They're exercising, they're eating the right way. And when they're in this age group, they're still not losing. And, so it kind of all was clicking to me. Well, this is why I was teaching eat every few hours, like so many of us had learned. I was forcing myself every morning to eat drink a smoothie, even though I wasn't hungry. And so that's actually been another freeing thing, not having to have breakfast every morning, not having to have that false notion that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And for some of you, if you're hearing that for the first time, I talk about that in some other videos in my book and so forth, but definitely do your research on that. Um, but the problem, for myself was during this period of time, I don't know if any of you are at the beginning or you're kind of, I know one of you had said that you were, no, you're not yet, but you're interested. So maybe you were kind of feeling the way I was. I had the reason why I had lost my weight originally, it's always been about feeling good. I mean, of course, who doesn't want to look good, right? I mean, I'm not, I'm not vain, okay, in that sense. But it really has always been about feeling good because I've always, really, since my mid 30s, had some severe back issues, and putting on weight has always made them worse. And so losing weight, and when I started to gain that 20 pounds, it's like they had been gone for years. As I said, I was a Pilates instructor, all of this. And they started coming back on. The digestive issues I had started coming back. There's a lot of just the sluggishness, the lack of energy when I put on this weight. And then this negative, I just had this like reel of negative self-talk constantly. Like every time I got in the mirror, always pinching myself, and just these things that I thought I had long put to rest 15, years earlier when I had lost my weight, which I thought was for good and had maintained all that years. I kept it off. And here it was again. And it amazed me how quickly, I don't know if we as women, maybe men too, but we can, our weight and our self image, our self-worth, for a lot of us, I shouldn't say everybody follows, it's kind of tied in to each other. And so, being able to do intermittent fasting has been such a putting me in control. I love the control that it gives me. As I said, it's 16, it's 8. It's 16, it's 8. Don't matter what 16 or 8. It could be one day, 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. One day it could be 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. It's the weekend. Maybe you sleep in a little later. But that's it. I am in control of everything, control of what I put in my mouth, because I can eat whatever I want. So there's no police. I get to choose. And so that has really been an amazing thing for me, and that I just, really, really love. And so, all of the numbers are always good, the 20 pounds, the 20 inches, all that, that's all really good, but it's how I feel now. And then the empowerment I feel when I see some of my members. I'm going to show you some pictures of some of them at the end here, and hear them, and just like looking at Marie reading here, very easy. In the beginning, it was difficult because you were used to eating every 3-4 hours, right? Like just even hearing that, I can hear you feel in control, right? And that is empowering. And as midlife women, we need to feel empowered. And this is just like a trickle effect, right? When you feel empowered in your body and in your mind, you're going to go out there and be empowered in the world and then take action in so many other areas of your life. So that's why I'm so passionate about this. All right, so let's get to my topics here, all right, that I was talking about. So I do have, for the past couple of years, I've learned a tremendous amount of things. When I get on these videos, I always have a whole outline of what I want to say, and then I end up just going off topic because, there's just so much of this intermittent fasting that I'm excited about and that I have learned. But there were really 3 when I sat down last night and thought, okay, what were like the 3 big things that, takeaways over the past couple of years that I wanted to share. And the one thing is that I don't really need that much food to sustain my nutrition, to be healthy, to feel satisfied. And that was kind of mind-blowing, right? I mean, that whole, as I was talking before, eating every 3-4 hours, you've got to eat to keep up your metabolism, all of these things we've been told. And I, and I thought, oh, if you don't eat, I'm going to starve to death and I'm going to be, miserable and tired and sluggish. It's like the opposite. Now, the first couple of weeks, maybe not, but once your body becomes what we call fat adapted and it converts over and it starts getting into this habit of burning your fat for fuel on a regular basis, you're not hungry. Your body is literally eating itself. I mean, to some degree, it's burning, and so you don't feel it. So when I mentioned people go 18, 20, 24 hours, often that happens without even thinking once you're into this for a couple of, weeks, months down the road. Would you agree, Marie? I mean, it just naturally happens that you don't need. But what's important in that, okay, is what you eat during that 8 hours. All right. So if you are only going to eat, like I pretty much eat one big meal and maybe 2 small snacks, maybe a small snack when I break my fast, typically between 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. I usually have some Ninja Red, which is a delicious antioxidant drink, and maybe a small little, like some hummus or something, or an avocado toast, or hard-boiled egg, something small, just to kind of, ease into it. A lot of times it's just the Ninja Red that kind of gets me through, and then I don't overeat. And then, I have a nice big dinner. I don't hold back at dinner. I have seconds. I eat what I want. Sometimes it's good stuff, and it's like, tofu stir fries and, or fish tacos. And sometimes it's last night and it's baked ziti. All right. But I don't hold back. I just enjoy my dinner. And then I've always been a snack girl. I got to have something for a snack. And for those of you who know me, I am a night owl. I'm up a lot of times. Well, this quarantine has got me up way too late, but typically at 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I can't stop eating at 7, 8 o'clock like some of you, because that's a long time to go. So I usually close my fast around 10 p.m. and I'll have a little snack. But what I eat during that period of time is vital in what you're choosing to sustain you during those 16 hours, right? If you're just eating just baked ziti and, chips and candy bars, that's all carb. That's all stuff that's sugar. It's going to get burned off right away. You need things that are going to fill you up, that are going to sustain you, that are high in fat, that are high in fiber, all right, that are proteins, that are going to sustain you. Those are the foods we're going to focus on most of the time. And so that's what I learned, is that, I don't really need that much food to survive, as long as I am, and to be, not just to survive, but to thrive and to feel satisfied, as long as I'm choosing the right foods most of the time. And like, tell me this too, anybody who's listening on the replay, this was like definitely the mind-blowing part. Without eating, like, I am more clear. I have more energy. I've always been a morning exerciser. I was scared about that. My exercise workouts are way better on a fasted stomach than they are having wolfed down that smoothie, because I was supposed to have something to eat so I wouldn't get dizzy and blah, 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 blah. Okay. All baloney. Okay. I understand, like, people are out there teaching that, and I taught that for a million years, so I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I mean, it works for some people, but you have to really be restrictive and deprive yourself, and even just, from the insulin perspective, it's hard, okay, to do that for people. So I do get it, that is, where we've been, but to know now that there's a way that you can be safe, you can be effective, and you can exercise on an empty stomach, like, wow, and have all this energy and so forth. So that's my number one surprising thing, was that I didn't need a lot of food to sustain myself. Sometimes you can't eat the meal you prepare because you're not hungry. Yes. And I've now put over 100 people that I, just through my online program, that's not even saying the people who read my book, who I don't even know, but just based on them alone, everybody is healthy. Nobody has ever gotten sick. When they've had some struggles, we've worked through them. There are some people who have joined who have come in with some struggles that we had to kind of tweak things and start slowly and build up gradually. And I'd recommend that anyways, really, starting at maybe 12 hours and working your way up over a week and a half period up to that 16 hours. Because, especially if you're in the throes of perimenopause, like I was at the time. I'm now in full menopause. Haven't had my period in a few years, but at the time when I was started this, I was in the throes of it, of perimenopause, and I do feel like it messed with my hormones a little bit. Like, I had kind of gotten my hot flashes and my night sweats under control with my oils. And I remember, again, looking back and looking at my journal, those first couple of months, they started to come back again. And that was the only thing I could imagine that I had done different. So I tweaked things up, and now it's been fine. So you just have to be mindful of what's going on. So that was number one. So number two is I am an intermittent fasting lifer, an IF lifer, I call myself. And this is surprising, right? Like, fasting for life. Like, I can tell you, week one, I never thought that, like, I would be fasting for life or want to fast for life, or really can't imagine doing life any other way but fasting, because it is just so ingrained in me now. That's 16-8. I started this out as literally like a last-ditch effort to lose weight. That's what it was for me. It was not, this thing that I thought would become my lifestyle. It was just, man, I just need something to work and see that scale budge. And fasting, not eating it probably will do it, right? So that's really what I started at. And, and what it has really evolved into has become this lifestyle, this way of just being. I don't even, as I mentioned, I don't even like think about it as a fasting anymore. I just, I automatically just kind of unconsciously look at my phone when I'm done eating at what time it is, count 16 hours, and I know when it opens up. So it's become just literally a part of what I do, a rhythm. And everybody I know in my program who's done it would say the same thing, that they can't imagine going back and eating breakfast. Now, is that saying that I don't eat breakfast ever? Of course. My goodness, like I go, my mom in my eye, I meet my mom for like around 11 o'clock once a week and I have a bagel. Okay. At 11 o'clock, because she won't eat if I don't eat. And so, oh, well, that's one day. It's not the end of the world. But I'm just saying, like, I don't miss it and things like that. And so forth. But it's just like, it's just become a natural way of what I do. And if I really want breakfast foods, I have them during my window. I mean, it's not that big of a deal if I want eggs or French toast or something like that. But the reason why I still do intermittent fasting almost what now? The first 9 months, I've been doing it for 2 years. So whatever that is, 14 months later after hitting my goal or so, is because of the other factors that intermittent fasting give. And if you have my book, you'll read about them. I mean, there are so many other reasons for doing intermittent fasting than losing weight. So many other health reasons, between something called autophagy, which is basically the cellular cells cleaning out themselves, getting rid of all of the toxins, getting rid of the junk, the things that clog up the communication, the things that keep that stubborn weight loss. And that just automatically happens. That, when you fast more than about 12 hours, that mechanism just kicks in automatically. I mean, that in itself, and that has amazing anti-aging effects. Amazing, right? People see such a difference in their skin, and as I said, their energy, their clarity. So that's one reason I do it. And the other reason is because it also increases your HGH levels, which is your human growth hormone. Another way you can do that is by exercising. All right. Or some people will take it as a supplement and so forth. But I mean, fasting, just bang for your buck. I'm doing what I would do anyways for losing weight. And I'm going to basically activate my human growth hormone, which is also, as we age, starts to deplete. That's why we get the wrinkles. That's why the skin gets loose. That's why, the stubborn weight, the flab, all of that stuff. Okay. It's because our HGH levels drop. And intermittent fasting is one way to kick that up, just naturally. So lots of bang for your buck. So big reason why I am an IF lifer for sure. And absolutely. So I don't know if any of you watching are on your maintenance yet, but give me your input on that. Are you too, like, is this kind of what you feel being your lifestyle? Yeah, Marie. Yeah, there, I'm looking over there. You agree? Absolutely. So, all right. Number 3. I never get bored with intermittent fasting. I mean, here I am, 2 years later, still doing it. I'm never bored because I can eat what I want, right? Like last night, I could have my ziti, or if I wanted, I could have my breakfast for dinner, right? I'm never bored. It's not like, okay, I can only eat, skinless chicken with no sauce on it, I can eat what I want when I want. Now, a big part of my program is listening to your body, learning what your body wants, right? To maintain what I have done. Believe me, it is not a free-for-all. And to maintain is hard. It's actually harder than losing. It's hard to stop losing. I have to really work with people when they're ready. Like when I see them, they're at their point. They need to stop losing now. And it's hard because your body has become this fat-burning machine. So, you've got to start adding some time in, making your fast shorter a couple times a week, maybe adding back in more food than you had been, finding that balance and not going overboard the other way. But I never get bored because I'm not restricted to anything. I don't know about you, but doesn't that sound good? I mean, to not be bored because it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. And if this was a diet, I'd be bored, right? I mean, you get like, a few things that you can eat and you tend to eat the same thing. And the intermittent fasting and it being a lifestyle, if tomorrow you were to go out and be introduced to Indian food, you can now have a whole new repertoire of food that way that you can introduce. And you're not restricted because you are only allowed to eat hard-boiled eggs, tasteless chicken and broccoli, for the next, rest of your life type of thing. And that's why I honestly feel like That's why I feel that intermittent fasting is superior to anything I've ever taught. And I have taught many different ways. I mean, I taught Weight Watchers, I've taught a plant-based Weight Watchers, I've taught the eat every few hours. But why I really feel it is superior is because it is, I feel, the only thing that I can have seen and I can personally feel being something that you do for a lifetime. Because even if you take a couple of weeks off, all you got to do to get back on is just the next day fast 16 hours. Like, it's not a big huge deal, or having to go out and buy special foods and so forth. It works with you. You can tweak it to your daily life. You can tweak it to your daily lifestyle, whether you're working, all of that. So if you haven't been, haven't started intermittent fasting yet, you've tried it and you really didn't have some success at it, contact me or get my book. And I do have an online program. I referred to it a couple times, but I'm not taking any new members at this moment because I'm in the process of redoing it and revamping it, and hopefully in the next 3-4 weeks re-releasing it in a different format. So hang in there for that. But I am absolutely here in this group to support you if you are, starting off your journey. You can ask any questions in this group, message me, and I'm more than happy to be there for you. So I want to switch here, get my picture off for a minute. And I want to show you some other people in my program who've had some success here. There's that one. Let me hide me. All right, I hear you ladies saying that you don't hear me anymore. I don't know why. I don't know why. I have no idea, to be honest with you. So I don't know. Everything is on. Microphone is on as far as I can see. Yep, my mic is on. I haven't done anything different, haven't touched anything. Well, darn it. I don't know if it's just my internet. Let me look over here. Let me look one more. No, that's good. All right, hold on. I'm just going to look one place and then I'll continue on here. Let me think. Hold on. Just trying to Check, 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 check. Let's see. Sound. Check. All right. Let me see. Can you hear me now? Let me see if that works. Can you hear me now? Yes? If anybody's on still? Can you hear me? Darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it. I don't know if you guys left or what. It happened when your screen showed all the photos without my live video. So now you can hear me. All right, I'm going to switch again and let's see what happens. Okay, so put in the video. I'm going to switch to the like without me being, I'm just going to keep it where it is. What am I playing with this for? If you can hear me, you can hear me. What am I doing? Okay. All right. Oh, Jill. Tech stuff, I tell you. If any of you, Sandy, weren't you on my thing the other night? Or was it? Oh no, you weren't on there. I did a movie night on Friday night, and 45 minutes we couldn't figure out video. So, but I also did just switch something, so I'm not sure which it is. But I'm going to keep it since you can hear me. I'm not going to change anything. All right. So I was telling you about these ladies. So I don't know how much you heard, but I was talking about people having different journeys. And so the last one I was talking about was in the bottom right there corner, Lois, 75 years old. Has been also doing it almost as long as I have, and she is a rock star. So this is for any age, any weight, any lifestyle. Anybody can do this and make it a part of their world. So for those of you who are struggling out there and you are feeling out of control with your eating, especially here on quarantine, I did a video on that a couple weeks ago. Go look for that in the announcements. I'm just, as I'm talking, I'm going to put up a different picture. I'll keep myself on here though, just to make sure. Where is this picture? I want to show. There we go. All right, now we got everybody. So, but actually, hold on. I'm gonna show that bigger. Sorry, this is what I'm talking about. I need a what do they call it? A producer, a TV producer. All right, let me hide that one. There we go. And then put this on. All right, there we go. Okay, phew. Get to the end of here. All right. So for those of you who are definitely struggling, I know I saw somebody on here saying you were interested, but you haven't started. For those of you who are maybe watching this on replay and just met me today and you're just hearing about intermittent fasting, but this has piqued your interest, I wanted to, tell you about my Melt the Midlife Middle book. It is a book that I released last June, and it has been amazing. It's a bestseller on Amazon. It answers the 100 most frequently asked questions about about intermittent fasting and essential oils. Every single thing that I do incorporates essential oils in some way. So the name of my book is Melt the Midlife Middle, a beginner's guide for women to the intermittent fasting and essential oils lifestyle. And if you flip when you buy that book to the back in the index, it goes through it as 100 frequently asked questions. But I wanted to offer as a celebration for my 2-year anniversary to this group only for the next 48 hours. If you want to go and purchase, you're going to have to purchase it from my website. If you go to Amazon, that will have the regular price. And if you are, I apologize. If you are out of the country, you do have to go to Amazon. I do not ship out of the country. But if you are in the United States and you have not purchased my book yet and you want, there is a $5 off coupon if you use that website on the screen there. It's bit.ly/MMM and that should take you to my website and you can purchase the book there. And then at the purchase, it has a discount code. And if you put in friend, it'll give you $5 off. And I know today I have a lot of new people who found me, and some of you may have just rushed out there and bought my book already today. And if that was the case, message me privately and I'll do something just to kind of, just to thank you for that as well, for purchasing it today or within the next 48 hours if you end up being out of the country or you already purchased it. Yeah, there you go. I don't know who you are, who's in Canada, because it says Facebook user, and I don't know your name, but message me, okay, afterwards, and I will definitely do something just to kind of make up for that discount that you lost out on. All right. So anyway, so that is really it. That's all I have for today. But just I want to make sure that you all join me every Monday at 2 p.m. Please, please, if you've got some uh, hot topics you want to talk about. I know some of you just joined today, and I was looking at some of the topics that you wrote. So I definitely want to address some of those. I've done a lot. I've already done about 8 of these. I think I've been started them a couple months ago. So you can go back and the announcements, I put the last 6 or 7 that I've done. But I've done a lot of videos on a lot of topics. And you can search in the topic section in the group and find those and search on other things. But I always like to leave with a little video, so I'm going to try. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. If not, oh well. But otherwise, I will see you on my page. All right, so let me just go find my